welcome to the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast. My name is Dylan, and I'm trying to use chopsticks wrong.
Oh, that's the wrong way to use chopsticks. But welcome, we are here to talk about the first 3 episodes of the Peacemaker series and what we think of it so far and where we think it is going to go. With the last, I think there's 5 more episodes. It should be an 8-episode series. So let's jump right in.
Well, first, who are you?
Oh, yes, I'm Evan. I'm the producer here. That's Dylan. He's our resident expert. And this is William down here. And he is a wild card.
Wild card. There you go.
He's a wild card.
The wild card.
So that's our backgrounds. That's what we specialize in. Anyways.
Chopsticks.
I specialize in chopsticks. Incorrect use of chopsticks.
Boom. Chopsticks.
Hey.
That was the right way. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
You're cultured, man. So let's talk about Peacemaker. We start with a literal sort of explanation of what happens in the Suicide Squad movie. Not the first one, but the second one, the one directed by
actual good one.
The good one, directed by James Gunn. And then we get more of a we kind of get a little hospital scene where
pretty much what happened during the post-credit scene after the Suicide Squad, pretty much.
Yeah, what happened to
Peacemaker.
What's his name? Smith?
Chris
Smith or something like that?
Chris, just
what's his last name?
I think it is Smith.
I think it is. Chris Smith? Such a generic
I thought it was
name.
John Cena.
John Cena! No. Is it Chris Smith? Christopher Smith. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
there you go.
Chris Smith. He gets released from the hospital. That whole scene is pretty funny with him talking to the janitor. And he's like, hey, the whole scene there is just so goofy. And then he calls a cab, he leaves the hospital, and he's like looking around. He's like, oh my God, I made it out. And he gets all hyped in the cab ride home. He gets dropped off, and he can't get into his house because he doesn't have his keys on him.
Well, he also has to give away his helmet because he doesn't have money.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He tries to give him the
Porto Marquis money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, no,
that's not worth a lot.
I know that's not worth anything. He's like, dude, you live in... What did he say to him? He's like, you live in a trailer park. Or something like that. He's like, I know this isn't anything. And so then he gives him his helmet as his payment for the cab ride home. Then he tries to get into his house. He can't. So he searches everywhere underneath his garden gnome and his little doormat. He can't.
Leaving, you guys are good to record. No.
Thanks. What?
special guest appearance.
So he checks everywhere, can't find a key, so he breaks his own window, hops into his house, and then his house gets surrounded by Project X, Task Force X members, or not members, but crew members. I don't know what you want.
Crew members of Wallers, pretty much.
Yeah. Wallers,
Well, this is Task Force X, I believe.
Task Force X, yeah, it is. So it's not like they're actual members, so it's not anybody from Task Force X, but it's the people behind the scenes, the guys behind.
Well,
the
actually,
desk.
wasn't there 2 of them, or 2 of them that were in the movie?
Well, 2 of them.
I think I think it was Diebeer, and I think the other chick was there as well.
Yeah, they were both in the movie, but they're not I meant they're not like Harley Quinn or somebody like that.
No. We're not saying they're part of the Suicide Squad. I'm saying they're part of the ops side.
Yeah, they're just random agents. So they're not even I mean, we haven't seen them really in action at all, so we haven't seen if they're capable of anything really.
Oh, what are you talking about? We saw Diebeard in action.
Yeah, we saw him.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, yeah.
So yeah, we haven't really seen them do anything crazy out of the ordinary. So they're just random, if you were to any just random FBI agent, even though they have some special training, they're not a big old threat.
One's a merc, another one's a good tech computer guy.
Yeah.
The other one's a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
And one of them is Amanda Waller's daughter.
Yep. I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest.
Yeah, that's more than normal there, buddy.
That's the biggest, maybe wild card of the show so far. She's reporting directly to Waller and keeping everything kind of in check. It's the, what's the name of the other guy on the crew? The guy who's leading the crew. Mur. Okay, so he's
a merc.
Yeah, he's leading the crew, and
he was made specifically for this TV show.
Yeah, he's specifically running this unit, and like probably has some, I would assume, some sort of vendetta against the butterflies, or some reason that he's running this group in particular. Like it's like something that he's opted to do, and like Amanda Waller's probably checking in on them because like she's not roped into it at all. Like she doesn't have the authority that she had. Maybe because of how she acted on the Corto Maltese mission, that like how she's now viewed with the rest of, you know, Task Force X and that whole group. I don't know if this is actually like if it's run by the same, like if it's run by Argus or not. I would assume it is.
It is, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't ever catch that in the Suicide Squad movie at all, in the first or the second one. So I didn't know. I didn't want to say it if it wasn't right.
The second one, I think they talked about a little bit more about more of Argus. The first one was just more about introduction to each character and all that stuff.
Okay, so maybe she's no longer in charge of Argus.
I think she's still in charge, but she just like because she realized that her team doesn't like her, she's taking like a step back.
Yeah, something like that. I would assume she's probably. I mean,
it's not that she really doesn't care if her team likes her or not, but like, she might also be on a like forced leave absence because she just got smacked across the back of the head.
Exactly. Like I can see her actions like being seen by the rest of Argus as like, hey, look, you can't be doing this. So like, you need to. You need to
step away for a while.
Step away or step down or something like that. Whereas like
I think most like step away.
Have as much oversight as she'd like. So that's why she's set somebody up in particular. Like it's her daughter, or
her daughter.
Yeah, her daughter.
Adebayo's her daughter.
Yeah, so she doesn't even necessarily want to be in the field, but like Waller's probably like forcing her daughter to do it. So
well, she said that she was having money issues. With her wife.
Yeah.
And then it kind of makes sense because they talk about them wanting to have a kid, and lesbian couples have to spend a lot of money to have kids.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
If they want to do it the science way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's probably the big like defining factor of like why she's doing this, because they are intending to have a kid.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And not to like bring her down to, she's a very skilled person. She's well trained.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she just doesn't show it. You know.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get like a super badass moment out of her at some point in time.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So anyways, there's some issues going on there financially for her, so she's roped into this Task Force X. The other two that were in the Suicide Squad are kind of like assigned to watch Chris because they fucked up and injured Amanda Waller, and so like they think they're on that duty because like as a punishment, and that's their assumption.
Kind of punishment for like aiding the person that knocked her out and saying, all right, you're good to go, guys, just kill the starfish and save the people, because Waller was like, no, just dip and bail, let starfish kill the rest of those people.
Let's start run rampant, let the Justice League take care of it, which it didn't end up happening.
Nope.
I mean, it could if the Suicide Squad decided to say no, we're gonna, but they didn't. The Justice League would have showed up most likely in that situation, and that's what Waller was kind of hoping for, but she got her fucking ass beat. So, what else happens in the first episode?
Well, obviously episode 1. Obviously, this whole series takes about right there.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, random coughing fit.
Yeah,
they happen.
Yeah.
Corona?
No.
Corona? Get away.
I've had my random coughing fit for years.
Oh yeah.
Like almost
I know.
10.5 years.
Oh jeez, that's a long time.
Yeah. Imagine if he was coughing like that, people would give him the stare saying, "Oh my God, he's contagious."
No, he's sick.
Yeah, give him the stare of death saying, "Corona." But anyway, obviously this series takes place about 5 to 6 months after the events of the Suicide Squad movie.
Yep, after he wakes up from... He wasn't in a... Was he in a coma?
No, he was just injured.
He was just like in a state of where
they said they had to replace his collarbone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got shot. And also he fucked up his right shoulder.
Yeah, and also a building fell on top of him, so you know he's kind of incapacitated at the very most. It seems like so he couldn't. I mean, not that he's gonna refuse treatment, but he couldn't really leave the hospital up until that point, anyways. So he was just chilling for.
And for the record, he's not like superhuman. He has no powers. He is just pretty much
he's just
a merc, a really good killer. Pretty much.
A really talented,
a well-trained merc.
Yeah, that's kind of the DC's universe's thing. So, whereas
if
like
they're not a god,
yeah,
they're well-trained mercs.
Because it's different for Bloodsport. Bloodsport actually has. Does he have powers?
No.
He landed that fall really well when the building fell and like he came down and shot Peacemaker. That was like a very large fall, like 50-60 feet, and he just looked like he was unfazed. So I wasn't sure about that. That was the one thing that like power levels are confusing in any sort of superhero media, but like that one kind of confused me a little bit. So, but yeah, no powers for Christopher Smith aside from his supersonic helmet now, because he ends up going to his
We'll talk
dad's.
about that later. His powers of helmets.
Yeah, that's the kind of next thing that happens after he gets out of the hospital and he gets recruited.
Yeah, well,
he goes to his dad's
let's not forget.
place.
Yeah, he goes back home to Evergreen, which, if you guys understand where Evergreen is.
Yep.
Green Lantern area.
Yeah, you're right. So so he gets recruited to come join and take on the Butterflies. And I think right after that, doesn't he go to his dad's place or?
Yeah, he does to get Eagly.
Yeah, so he goes to get he goes, I gotta get Eagly. Helmet. That's right.
Yep.
Well, he doesn't even go to get a helmet. He goes to get his Eagle. His dad just is like, you need a new helmet. So he gives him a couple different options to choose from. To
the bonus scene at the end. This one
credit.
Scabies. This one will give you scabies.
Yep.
Why?
Why?
Because every man needs scabies at least once in their life.
Yeah, and you need a chance.
Oh man. Yeah, that was.
How about we talk about his father? Yeah, who is he? You know what he does and all that stuff.
The White Dragon. So
he's not traditionally the White Dragon, but he's the White Dragon for this.
Yes. It's been adapted that way for this series specifically, which I think is good that they're kind of not sticking exactly to the comics in a way. I always like when a show can kind of branch out a little bit and take a character that's not typically a certain alias and then make them that. It was the same thing that the one thing that I like obviously about this series is Vigilante. I like him because in the same sort of way, they did. It's not Adrian Chase, and Adrian Chase is Vigilante in the comics, and he was Prometheus in Arrow. Whereas, like, everybody expected Adrian Chase to be the Vigilante when that show was happening in season 5 of Arrow, and the whole thing that fucking made me love the character so much is that Prometheus wasn't Adrian Chase and wasn't who you think he was. And he's in this series, it's the weird kid from down the street who's I don't even know what they said his name, right? I don't know if it's
they said his name in episode, I think it's like Gus or Guts.
Yeah,
he is Adrian Chase.
Oh, he is.
So he's playing Adrian Chase / Vigilante. Peacemaker.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was Adrian Chase. I thought it was.
There you go.
Yeah, in episode 3, like I was pretty sure they said, "My name's Adrian." When he's like, "Hey man, what's your name?"
Oh, okay. I thought.
So,
I thought that they.
But they're just making him like a loser.
Yeah, they're taking it in a different direction. Whereas Adrian Chase is like
boy that plays D&D.
Yeah, they're like Adrian Chase is typically a lawyer who's like this very dual life kind of guy, and in the same way he's like sort of a dual life in this where he's just like some weird loser though, in a different direction. So but like in this, he's like also like he's just like fucked up. Like, he's just completely fucked up. Whereas like Adrian Chase generally is like a very calculated, smart guy. And this guy, he's just like a fucked up psychopath or sociopath, whatever you want to say he is. And so, and his costume is actually very good. I really like it.
Yeah,
I like
the costume's good.
Yeah.
I was wondering why I knew him. Like when his face came off, I was like, oh man, I know that guy.
Yep.
After looking at it, it's because of Harry Potter.
Ah, yeah, he is in Harry Potter. That's right.
He was in the Half-Blood Prince and in both versions or both parts of the Deathly Hallows.
He's who does he play again? This is
Cromac McLagan.
Yeah, he plays one of the. Yeah.
He's one of Slughorn's like
Quidditch players.
Choir boys, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, let's talk about Eagly. You know, look how fantastic that bird is.
Eagly is great. Yeah.
Eagly's awesome. I love that.
That's the best sort of sidekick you can get, I think.
Wait, is your dog named Doggy?
Is your dog? Yeah.
How about the argument he had with his neighbor, with the old man neighbor at his dad's house?
Oh, that was funny as fuck. Everything. Yeah, when he goes over there, he argues with his neighbor who's like trimming his bushes or something. He's like, "Hey, are you that one guy?" And yeah.
Batman's a superhero.
Yeah.
Well, Batman sucks.
They also do what I love about the series is they do a lot of name drops, like constant name drops. They drop Harley Quinn, which, you know, James Gunn is the director of the Suicide Squad, so he kind of has the freedom to do any and all of that.
Well, technically, it is part of the DCEU.
Exactly. So,
was it in episode 1 that they dropped the Batmite reference?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather hang out with Batman.
Yeah.
I'd rather hang out with Batmite than you.
Yeah.
Batmite? Who the fuck is Batmite?
Yeah. It's like
the 2-foot-tall imp that stands Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a alternate universe imp that like has like come to this dimension to stand like Batman, which is like a deep cut comics book reference that only James Gunn would do. So no one else would do that. And so
apparently he was trying to get Batmite into the Suicide Squad TV like movie of his.
Fuck, dude.
And it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Like as far as like good story.
Yeah.
So
well, like they'd have to have put him on the team that dies on the beach, most likely, if they were gonna put him in there at all. Because there's
he was gonna be in like Harley's team.
Yeah.
The team that won
the beach.
Yeah.
Well, Harley is on the team that storms the beach originally.
Yeah, but not.
She gets captured.
Yeah.
Team Harley gets captured.
Yeah, they would put him if they were gonna put him. If they were gonna like use this reference that they did in Peacemaker and like keep him alive, he would have to been on Bloodsport's team, and there just makes no reason. Like, there's no sensible way to put him on that team. I don't think to like keep him alive. So,
true.
Let's see. What else do we want to talk about in the first episode? The first episode.
He still has the chip. He still has the chip in him.
Yep, absolutely.
Although I don't think it's still active per se. At least I don't know.
Well, you know? They might. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long those chips are good for. We haven't. I mean, we've seen them detonated in the show or in this universe.
In the movie,
we've seen them in the first Suicide Squad and in the second with what's his name? Michael
Rower.
Rower. Yeah, yeah.
The guy who played Merle in Walking Dead, and Yondu.
Or is it Rourke?
Michael something with an R. I know that.
Yeah.
So we've seen the chips detonated before, but we haven't seen them last over 6 months necessarily. So technically,
I think they just last as long as they have internet connection.
Yeah, I think that they should realistically last forever. I mean, like, if they wanted to show that they weren't a foolproof way to keep them, like if the bombs, you know, didn't last forever or whatever. If like the chips went bad after a while, they could do a fucking tease for that in this show where you know, Chris goes off the rails and is out of control and doesn't want to help with the butterfly project anymore. They go, we're gonna blow you up. We're gonna blow you up. He's like, fuck it, do it. I dare you. And then they go, and it doesn't blow his head up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it most likely. I doubt that we'd see it, but I'm sure.
Nah.
I want to say that the chips still work regardless.
Yeah, I mean they can still track them with the chip in them, pretty much.
And I think that the detonation would always go off. Like I don't see it ever not working, unless it's removed. So, let's see. What else can we discuss?
What do we remember about episode 1?
The first episode, he also starts hitting on his.
Yep, he starts hitting on
the non-assassin.
What's her name?
Hawk something. Hawthorne. I don't know.
Hawthorne, I think.
It's pretty close to that.
Agent Hawthorne.
Maybe.
I think it is.
Hardcore or something like that. Let me see.
It's not hardcore.
It's something like that though. Hold on, let me look.
Something with the court.
Harcourt. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
HARCOURT. Harcourt. I just pulled up the whole list so that I have it available because I keep fucking forgetting it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's married or is partners with James Gunn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The actress.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
It's so funny.
She's 35.
Hey.
Jennifer Holland. Yeah.
She's been with James Gunn since 2015.
Nice.
Dang. Congrats for them. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he integrates people that he's friends with and knows into every project. He's such a that's what I want to be when I grow up. If I'm ever a director, like I want to put my homies in movies. That's what I would want to do, even if they're famous actors.
We'll hold you to that.
Well, I bet Batmite, if he would have gotten him into the TV show, would have been his brother.
Yeah.
That
absolutely.
does all the vocab.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean.
For like Rocket and stuff.
Yeah, it would be Sean. 100%. Yeah, so the first episode kind of goes off the rails at the end. It doesn't.
Well, not really. So the first episode, he sees Hardcourt and he's talking to her. She bitches these dudes. Who are trying to call her a bitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's like, shows them who's boss. Everybody starts clapping for her.
Yep.
Mostly the ladies.
Yeah.
She sits back down and starts like drinking her beer again, and then gets pissed off at Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So then, like, Peacemaker is like, "Hey man, I'm just trying to get my dick wet.
I'm just trying to fuck. I'm just trying to fuck. Like, I don't want any commitment. I don't need any of that. Like, I've been in a hospital for 6 months. Like,
I've been in jail for 4 years before that.
4 years before that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to get laid. And then she's like, well, guess what? I don't give a fuck. I'm out of here. Like, do you ever think what I'm trying to do? None of that. And then like walks out, and he's just kind of like, oh fuck. And he like looks over to the side, and there's some other girl drinking with a fucking 80s haircut, like
the Skid Row.
Yeah,
she sees the Skid Row. Or he sees the Skid Row.
And then he goes, all right, I'll take you home. And then he ends up taking her out.
She takes him home.
Yeah, she takes him home. And
we get our first pair of titties in the show.
Yes.
Yep. We do.
Yes, we do.
And the first sexual scene.
And so then they end up sleeping together, and then I think that's where it cuts, right? Because they don't fight.
He like screams America while he's balls deep.
Yep.
While he's jamming to the 80s rock music, pretty much, which we're gonna hear a lot of in that series, because Gunn loves to bust out the rock music, the classics.
Yep.
Well, each song that he chooses to has something to do with the scene going on or the overarching like narrative of that episode.
Yep, correct. So, which is why he does that the best, bro. I love it.
No one does it better than him. No one ever will. No. I don't think. He's great at it.
But yeah, it ends like just shortly after him railing her in the bathroom.
Yep. And then we jump straight into the second episode with her
the opening scene of that
brushing her teeth in the bathroom after the fact, which is kind of a weird thing that like so after the realization that like she has read the files, she knows that he's gonna be killing butterflies, and they're like,
no,
that's
I think
mission.
she was brushing her teeth. Then she went into the bedroom.
Well, no, she was brushing her teeth.
She read the files first, and then she told them saying, "I'm gonna go." Yeah, I'm gonna go brush my teeth.
We don't see that till like halfway into the episode after like
I think it was episode 3 that we saw it.
Oh, it might have been episode 3 when they realize, because they're going back to talk about how did she even know that you were...
that was in episode 3.
Yeah, so...
but then in episode 2, so she's brushing her teeth, and he goes out, and he sees all of her kick-ass music.
Yep.
And he grabs her massager off the counter.
her massager, yes. That's what that is.
Her personal massager off the counter and starts using it as a microphone.
Yep.
So that was so like the best part. Like I was sitting there like,
so funny.
He's using a fucking vibrator.
Yeah, he's using a vibrator to sing in her living room. What a fucking wacko. And then she walks past him into the kitchen, and you see her just grab a knife and pull it out. And then what kind of scared me is she kind of disappeared from the frame. I was like, what the fuck? Because like they kept panning the camera around him, and like, you couldn't see her. Minute. And you're like, wait a minute, where the fuck did she go? Is she like on the ceiling? Is she like... And then like it pans around fully, and she's just been standing there staring at him. And then she just charges him with the knife and stabs him a couple times. They start fighting. He throws her around. And then
the fight choreography was really good. The only thing in that scene that I was like going about was they made a couple noises as if she actually stabbed him.
Yeah.
And like sliced him, and he didn't have
he didn't have the mark
appropriate amount of damage taken.
Yeah. Until after the cuts until after like the scene shifts into a different camera frame, and then he has the cuts there. So like it didn't like.
Well, there's one time where she slices him like good right across the chest.
Yeah.
And he never has that mark at all.
No, not at all.
He's got a puncture wound like right here.
Yeah,
he's got a puncture wound at his like stomach. Like he should have a slice on his arm, which he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Like
that was one thing that was a little noticeable for me too. Was like, why is he so unscathed here? He just got
and I guess
pretty
just the difference between like expecting something like that from Marvel.
Yeah.
And then with, I mean, technically HBO,
it's all DC, but regardless, like those things also should have like shown up as they were happening through After Effects, through CGI or whatever you wanted to do. Like those things should be there, and then you should do the makeup appropriately for when you switch angles. So like, it's not hard to do, honestly. So I don't know how they weren't able to do that. But
I wonder if it just didn't look real enough, so they were just like, screw it.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess it could have been that.
Or they just didn't even think about it, and they're like, only the eagle-eyed viewers are gonna say anything about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't destroy the story by any means.
Oh, no.
So it's just a weird discrepancy that like you wouldn't see that happen in a Marvel fight. Where like or even like in some of the CW stuff, when the arrow would get cut or something like that, when Oliver would get sliced up, you'd see it immediately. Like you'd see a cut happen there immediately in the fight. Or like if you're watching something like trying to think of a good fight scene that like is like
him against Ra's al Ghul sword fight.
Yeah, like that right there, when he gets cut on the mountain, like you see those cuts happen immediately, and then like the makeup's there, and the next pan out shot where they're up close and you see him slice his arm or something like that, or slice his chest, and you're like, oh, you see it happen real time. He's reacting to it, and then you get a pan out shot, and that's there appropriately. So, like, I'm trying to think of something Marvel project wise that like you would see that as well, where there's like a knife fight or like a.
They kind of stay away a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing that we would have probably gotten would have been a like
a bruise or like a.
Yeah, but even like just like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like when he was the Ronin.
Getting his cuts.
Yeah.
He was like slicing up those guys, and you'd see their bodies like cut open, stuff like that. Yeah,
that's
good. They tried to keep their stuff a little bit more PG-13s.
Yeah, so there wasn't like blood everywhere, but like you could see slices and stuff like that. So,
but they also like insinuate the slicing a lot.
Yep.
So it's harder to like.
There's sound effects and stuff too thrown in there. So, let's see. So yeah,
Deadpool is a good one though. Like
yeah.
That wasn't technically Marvel, but they're gonna have to do something with it, or even like Blade. Because I think they're saying that Blade is potentially going to be a rated R movie.
Yeah, I think it will be. It's slotted to be. Like there's no other way to do it.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it should be if you're going to do it.
If you're going to do it at all, you should do it that way. Yeah, I agree. Let's think. So they get in this huge fight. Smith ends up like busting out of the building, running away from her to go hide like between cars, and then he's all sliced up, so he's like trying to crawl into his car to like get it started and run away, and she like chases after him and jumps.
Well, I think he was just looking for his helmet.
Yeah, he was,
because that looked like it was what he was trying to do. I love like in every episode, at least twice an episode, he falls on his right shoulder.
Yep.
Yes, that is funny, because that's the shoulder that the doctor said don't
take it easy on.
Don't
take it easy on, like, don't, overlift yourself or anything like that. And every time him jumping like from balcony to balcony, he lands on the shoulder. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. So he's all sliced up. He goes into his car. You're right. He does end up looking for his helmet because he has the supersonic wave. She jumps like 20 feet into the sky after him, and he just and blasts her, and she just blows.
He pretty much says activate supersonic barrier or beam, I think.
And what I like is like when she blows up like that, there is no butterfly, because you can insinuate that like it got disintegrated and blown up alongside with her. Correct. So like you don't get that reveal yet. You don't understand the butterfly reference still. And then he gets the call from Hardcore, and they're trying to explain. He's like, hey, I think, what are those fucking butterfly things? I think I just killed one. And like she's like, what? And he's like, I'm trying to go get my stuff. And so then you get the whole scene with the police coming in and whatnot. And he
goes upstairs
and
he goes upstairs to grab his stuff.
He
grabs the 80s rock music records as well.
He just starts taking her things and stealing them. But then the police start funneling into the building because he like looks out the window to see if there's anybody there, and they see him up there. They're like, who is that?
It's like, who's that?
And he's like, oh shit, they found me. And so he runs. he can't go down the stairs because there's people on the stairs. He can't go down the elevator because it's already occupied by the officers. So he runs upstairs instead, goes into a random person's apartment and flirts with his wife and
a couple,
and or I don't know if they're married or not, but
they are. No, they are.
Okay,
they
that's
are.
right. So he starts flirting with them, and or at least flirting with the girl. He's not even flirting with her. She's flirting with him.
She's kind of flirting with him.
She's flirting with him, like getting all excited about being tied up and whatnot. And she's like, he just goes, "Are you fucking serious right now? He's tying you fucking up right now." And she's like, "Yeah, well, I kind of like it." And then
he talks about 80s rock. You and your Coldplay. You're noticing. I'm like, oh my god,
fucking boring. You're fucking boring.
And you don't talk about Cinderella at all. You're stupid. I talk about Cinderella at least once a day.
Yeah. Yep. That was fucking great. I love that scene, and I love even more that at the end of the episode he bangs her, because that's fucking hilarious. So,
well, she gets banged two ways.
She gets banged by him and Vigilante. So then he ends up jumping off.
I love how Vigilante still has his mask on, though.
Oh yeah, no, because you can't give up his identity.
Yeah, man.
So
he's true. He's true to the secret identity, bro.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's just 100%. Funny that he's just like, I'm gonna have this 3-way with Peacemaker and this random chick.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep my mask on though.
Yeah. So, yeah, he ends up jumping off the building though and getting away, and he like runs from the cops are like get into the room with him and say, yeah, he's down there, and then the lead detective or whatever starts shooting at him as he's running pretty much naked through the forest out to the car, and he gets in the car, and then they go through a small police chase.
No, they don't even. The police don't even really follow them.
Really?
No.
Okay, I remember the window being shot. So I guess
they shoot the window.
They shoot the window as he's running to the car. But then they get away, and don't get followed somehow. So they get away, and then he meets up with Vigilante that next day, right?
Well, he goes back to his house.
Yeah, he goes back to his house and meets.
And Vigilante comes over to make sure, like.
He's like, "Hey, are you good, bro?"
Yeah. He has a bit of a heartbreak moment, and he's like, Flag was right. Peacemaker, what a joke. And then he starts getting.
Vigilante comes in.
Yeah.
And then look at my crotch.
Peacemaker's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you watching me laying down, you fucking weirdo? You have your dick out right now. Like, I don't know why he thinks that, but that's just his go-to. He's like, I swear my dick's not out. And they have like an argument for fucking 5 minutes about, dude, just look at me. Look at my fucking crotch. My dick is not out. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Why would I be jerking off out here? He's like, I don't know. People do weird shit. And it's like, why would you assume
he
that's what
refers
he's
to
doing?
the comedian that got in trouble for exposing himself.
Fucking what's his name? Fuck, I don't know his name, but he's
like Bill. It's not Bill Burr.
No.
It's John
like,
something. They reference someone.
Yeah, I mean it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah. We'll just move on.
But then Vigilante's like, "Yo, man, I've been saving up appliances for when you get out of jail." To help Peacemaker feel better.
Yeah.
Then they have this beautiful scene together of them shooting appliances and showing how good of shots they are.
Yep. They're pretty accurate.
Well, Eagly is flying over top majestically.
Yeah. That's a pretty beautiful scene.
And they throw dynamite at each other because why the hell not?
Oh yeah, because it's funny. That's what you do. That's
what you do with your bros. We're doing that. We're doing that when we all meet up, right?
Yeah,
we're all gonna go into the forest and we're just gonna throw each other dynamites.
Yeah, and shoot a bunch of fridges and stuff. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I already got it all set up on Devil's Backbone.
Oh shit, nice.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
So then what ends that scene? Does Peacemaker get a call?
It's Eagly flying over top. And then
Yep.
And then they cut into the next scene of Murr talking to the tech guy.
Yeah.
To make sure that
to hack the
John Cena isn't going to be
so his
like
car
connected to that.
So his car is on the scene. He left his car there. So they checked the plates and it didn't get so entirely destroyed, but it got
runnable.
It got beat the fuck up. So anyway, but regardless, his car is on the scene, and so he's like, he's asked to like switch his plates over to somebody else's identity, and then he switches it to his father's identity.
Of all people, let's switch to his father.
And so he had done that, like I think in episode 2, and then they address it in episode 3 because the cops show up at his dad's place. I don't even know how they. I guess they like. How did that get brought up again? Why did they?
What do you mean?
You
because
it to his dad?
He's like, you're gonna love who I put it as.
Oh yeah.
And then
he tries to brag about
went over to that.
And then Murr gets upset at him. He's like, "You did it to his father."
You put
anybody you could have picked.
Anyone you could have picked. You picked the guy that can still trace it to him. And he's like, "Well, and so then he's like,
I was under a lot of pressure. You were in the bathroom. I didn't know if you were going number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he tells Waller's daughter to go and bribe the couple who's gonna get interrogated about who was in their building to try and like pin it. They end up she bribes them to pin it on his dad, so his dad ends up getting locked up, and then that's how you ultimately find out he's the White Dragon, is because he goes to prison, kicks the black guy out of his seat and takes it, and then everybody else in the prison is like, White Dragon.
Yeah. All the white neo-Nazis.
Yeah, they're all praising him.
Although technically they did mention he was supposed to go to Arkham, but it's a little too crowded over there.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did say that. They said he was supposed to go to Arkham Asylum. Too crowded. He can't fit there, so they just took him to the prison.
They just leave him to the county in there. Yep.
So, but yeah, so they all praise him there and think he's the best, and he'll probably escape, I would guess, or get released.
I don't think he's just gonna hang out there. Like,
really?
I don't think it's gonna stick. So he's gonna leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I would agree.
Because during the trailer of this season of Peacemaker, he goes and visits his dad and says, yeah. I like to talk to Detective Song or whatever her name is.
Yep. Let's see what else happens.
I love how he does a little bit of racist jokes on them when they come in, trying to question him, saying, "Where were you the night of this night?" It's like, "What do you want, chopsticks or this and that?"
Yeah, he's a
fork.
He's a fork. Yeah.
Why didn't you call him a spoon? Well, everybody uses spoons, but he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know.
Oh man. So then the whole premise of the third episode is so they clear Chris's name, but then they also have another target to hit, and so they go and target a senator in particular. And so there's a scene when they're all gearing up and getting ready for the mission, and Vigilante's just hiding behind a trash can with them, and they're like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here! You're not allowed to. This is top secret shit. Like, get out of here."
He's like, "I'm just watching your back. I'm just making sure."
And so he's like, "Dude, you can't be here." And so then they end up traveling the distance to go assassinate the senator or whatever, and Vigilante just follows them the whole time and ends up hiding in a bush. He just hides in he hides in plain sight basically everywhere he goes. So he doesn't really have the stealth factor to him, but that's okay. And so
I mean, it's got to be stealthy enough, though.
Yeah. What's ultimately funny about it is like he could have gotten away with it and like been hidden there and not let anybody know he was there. I mean, aside from Chris, but like the fact is like Chris has like a wire on him, so like they instantly know that Vigilante's there the moment he says anything. So he wasn't gonna phase him at any point, which I think is funny. So then you get like a really heartfelt sort of scene between Harcourt and Peacemaker, and you like they get a little bit of traction, and then Vigilante comes out and fucking ruins the whole thing. And then so they're spying on this senator and his family, and trying to ultimately kill this guy because he's a butterfly, or assumed to be a butterfly. And so then they're sitting there watching the family all together, and you find out that they're all butterflies, and they're doing like some weird thing with their
their bodyguard, his personal bodyguard.
Yes, the bodyguard, the
judo master,
or the other guy who's just like an actual regular bodyguard is like a nobody. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, it's a nobody.
But then there's
let's just talk about his personal bodyguard, not the main bodyguard, but judo master.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about him? So he's
like
he's fucking badass. Like
he's a tiny man that took down John Cena.
Yeah, he kicks ass. Then he gets hit by a car.
Truck.
He gets
and
fucking
then tire ironed in the back of his head.
Yeah, he gets tire ironed
like 100 times.
A couple times. So I don't know the specifics behind Judo Master's character. Does he have like actual super strength, or was he just he's just super?
I think he's just really good.
Super good at martial arts.
Martial arts.
Yeah, I figured.
I think he might be also be a butterfly, but I think he has it controlled.
Oh,
probably.
You think? That's an interesting theory. I would assume that he doesn't know, because the other bodyguard didn't seem to know either.
No, the bodyguard was just the other bodyguard was just the clueless one.
Yeah, he was just like, "No, please don't shoot
me." The senator tells
yeah.
Judo Master, "Send this to the other people and tell them what happened here." So I'm guessing, like, tell the other butterfly saying that
that's actually,
someone knows who we are.
That's a good indication that he could be. I really like that idea, because why else would you send the guy? I mean, like, why else would he be protecting them unless he's getting paid super well? But which could be a theory as well. But that would make sense if he's a butterfly to go tell the others. And yeah, okay, interesting. I like that theory. Because I don't know anything else about Judo Master's origin, or
we don't know either that much about him either as well. But I mean, I hope they don't kill him off that easily. I mean, depending how many times he got whacked in the back of the head.
I don't think he's dead at all. I think he's just knocked out. Because like, if you're getting hit that many times and still trying to crawl and like still trying to move, like you're pretty physically adept. And also the thing about martial arts is like you're trained to take hits and stuff like that. So that's why he's so capable of taking all those. I just didn't know if he had powers or not that was like helping because like I don't think he was hitting him actually that hard. You know, he's not a very strong guy at all. It is a tire iron, but like, yeah. So, let's talk about the interrogation scene. One of the best scenes of this show so far.
Wait, which interrogation? Because there's like two. The couple's post-credit interrogation scene trying to identify who it was.
Well, both of them are actually great. I meant the one in the cell.
The actual show.
Yeah, in the actual show. So that whole scene is, I don't know. I guess I can't say perfect, but it was pretty damn perfect in my eyes.
It was pretty good. Like the fact that it's like the butterfly dude is trying to like use like empathy.
Yeah.
To make John Cena
to make Peacemaker
give him answers.
And the thing is like Peacemaker is an actual psychopath. He is incapable of showing empathy, and the butterfly can't comprehend that. Like he doesn't he doesn't see that. So like it just fleshes out Peacemaker's character as a whole way better. Like not way better, but like it just like exemplifies exactly who he is as a person. And then the same thing with like Vigilante, like being like, dude, no, stop, like don't listen to him, like he doesn't give a fuck about me, but like he wants him to so bad, but he knows that he can't get it. So it's like Vigilante and like the weird guy like character of him is like looking for this validation so hard, and then he like is sitting in an interrogation going, oh fuck, this guy actually doesn't give a shit. Like I'm fucked. Right. So
right, he's like saying, you know, I'm gonna show him that this John Cena is a real asshole here. So
yeah, he's like, no,
don't. And he fucking jokes around with the guy saying, dude, sharpen your tools, they're not working.
Yeah. And he's all pissed off because he's like, you're trying to cut off my fucking toe and you can't even do it. Like, fuck you, man, this hurts. Yeah, it's pretty. The whole thing is fantastic.
Dude, and people can't walk without their pinky toes. They just fall over.
Yeah. He's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I think I read it somewhere on the internet. And it's like, yeah, the whole scene is great. And then all that's happening up top, they're fucking the most suspenseful and funny scene of the show so far. Well, maybe not funny, but most suspenseful scene is like them like trying to blow the door, and he like sticks the thing on there and he keeps trying to blow it and it won't work, and he does it like 4 or 5 times and he gets fed up with it, so he walks closer to it and then it blows and he just like gets blown back and he stands up. He's like, what the fuck, man?
Well, so that's even like different. So he gets blown up by it, right? And like he's blown back, and Hardcore goes over to him, and it like definitely seems like he's dead.
Oh.
Like, because she looks at him and he's like laying there. Just whatever you just said didn't get picked up.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That's weird. I might have to go and rewatch that. That's what I was saying.
Because he's just laying there and he's like, eyes are open and he's just like...
Well,
and then she's like, and she just like walks away, because like if she would have like even checked him, then like maybe there's a chance, but like she looked at him and like dead was like, oh, that guy's dead.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think so. Didn't he like put his thumbs up though? He's like saying, I'm okay.
I didn't see that if it happened.
Yeah, I believe he did. I'm
gonna have to rewatch it, because I know after a couple seconds he did do some sort of motion or stood up, because like he was just like, he just like looked around like, and I guess you could say they're trying to be like a bit realistic with that, like he's like traumatized, like, and just like completely out of it and like looking around.
I mean, he got knocked back.
Well, he's also like a sociopath. He himself is a sociopath.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he has no ability to express feelings.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And they had that scene where he was talking to the tech dude, where they're setting up cameras and stuff, and like he's like, yeah, I don't know how to express emotions, and like he's saying this to him, but this whole scene is just like a robotic like a way of him like to say that like, yeah, no, I know what anger is, and like I can kind of feel it, so like I am angry, like.
So it's interesting that you bring up the robot part. Part of me wants to think that like they're gonna do the same sort of thing, like altering the character a little bit. What's the name of the robot with kryptonite in it that fights Superman?
Yeah, Mazemo?
It's not a Mazo. No. That's like
Steel something, I think, right? Steelman?
Let's see. Robot
Steel something
that fights Superman.
I know what you're talking about. He has like the kryptonite like in his chest,
he has kryptonite in his chest.
Where his heart is. Yeah, I've seen him in the anime series. I remember.
Is it Kellex? No, that's not right. That doesn't sound right. Metallo.
There you go.
I want to say that he could be like Metallo. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm not gonna say like with certainty that he is, but like part of me thinks that he actually is a robot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If he looks dead in that scenario, just surviving that blast makes me a bit suspicious in the first place.
And he did survive it with like zero
he was
injuries.
Completely fine after like a couple seconds there. So like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that he's just like some kind of cyborg type person or an android.
Yeah,
or
I can see it.
Like LMD or something.
Maybe.
Other thing is so there's like a reason he's probably specifically assigned to fight against the butterflies. So maybe or it could be like another thing where like he's like an alien that's part of like the Reach. If we want to go down this path. So let's talk about the end of the interrogation scene when Smith...
Or he's John Judge.
I even thought about that too, but I don't think they're going to do that. Because they already have John Jones in the DC.
Yeah.
So, when I initially saw him and like how he was acting, I was like, that's kind of Martian-ish. But anyways, so...
maybe.
Well, what if he's a white Martian?
Nah.
What if it's Megan?
White Martian working for the government and doing all that stuff? Nah, I don't think so.
No, because he's like, he doesn't have any sort of empathy, so I don't think it's like a big like Martian reveal or something like. It's like gotta be like.
We can all be wrong about this. We could just be like, he's just a regular dude. Yeah.
He could just be a regular dude too. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he's got empathy. He just doesn't know how to
express
his feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So like that, it's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath.
Yep.
Correct.
Like. But
so
yeah,
what I'm thinking though is, so we've talked about this a little bit before we started recording. When John bursts open this guy's head and kills him, the after effects, you see this little creature come out of his head and start flying, and then it goes, oh, that's why butterfly. I get it now. And then it cuts back to the stakeout truck and shows all the potential butterflies in the U.S. and the rest of the world when it zooms out, and you're like, holy fucking shit, that's like so many people, and they're all apparently being controlled or possibly being controlled by this alien species that's
so it's weird though, like how does the computer then pick up all the butterflies and like
I don't know how.
Does that one butterfly exiting its husk body like send out a wavelength allowing all the other butterflies to
I don't think so. It's Argus, so they're super keen on tracking things and stuff like that.
Or is it just because?
Oh, we just it cut. Right,
I mean, we'll know in episode 4 probably, but like.
So. It cut really hard there, so I missed part of what you said. Can you say that again?
We'll probably just figure that out at like the start of episode 4, but it's just still like, why? Yeah.
So part of me thinks that like this is like Argus has like tracked, not like signatures of alien presence across the world, but also part of me goes, how is somebody like Victor Stone not seen something like this happen? Or like is aware of it, and maybe we get something like from Ryan Choi, who's now in charge of that department at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I would assume is in charge of it in the actual DCEU if you don't want to count Zack Snyder's Justice League as canon, whatever.
At this point, we might as well just count it because it's better than the other one.
It is. I don't know if you guys. I don't want to get into it really, all of it, but I don't know if you've seen some of the things that Joss Whedon has said this week. Not a good look. So obviously he's been called out by Ray Fisher for being like racist, and Gal Gadot has said that he's like sexist, and other people from previous projects he's worked with have called him out. This week he did an interview where he said Ray Fisher is just a shitty actor and that Gal Gadot cannot speak English. So that kind of just is like, one, you're wrong because Ray Fisher did a pretty good job in the Snyder Cut, and two, how are you just gonna tell somebody how are you just gonna say somebody can't speak English?
When clearly she can.
When she clearly can, and she's been in plenty of other movies, directed by plenty of different other, producers, and done just fine and very good in a lot of them. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with him. But...
Not to defend him or anything like that. I mean, he does have a fair point. And don't forget, some of these guys could become divas per se as well. We don't know what really happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Per se, Some of these guys would like to play the victim. They like to play the victim a lot sometimes. So, let them victimize themselves and this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I remember, Gal Gadot, she was in before she became Wonder Woman, her English wasn't that good when she did Fast and the Furious. When they go to Brazil, her English wasn't that decent, but I
mean, it wasn't the greatest, but I mean, it was still she could still speak English, and has come a long way.
Yeah, But I think what's really troubling is to say out loud hey, this foreign person who's been in plenty of movies and spoken English just fine, in plenty of scenes and lots of lines, doesn't know how to speak English. To just say that outright is just kind of fucked. And I don't.
Imagine he was said it to Jackie Chan.
Yeah, exactly. If he said that to somebody else, the world would go crazy. Imagine saying that to somebody like Jackie Chan. I'm trying to think of somebody else that's a good example, but that's
Jackie Chan is
the
best example for him. Because his English is decent, but he still has an accent. But he's still
it's just an accent. And if you're gonna opt to say they don't know how to speak English because you're refusing to understand the accent or listen a little bit, come on, man, fuck you. I don't know. I don't want to get into it any more than that, but basically,
let's just leave it there. Let the drama flow.
Well, there's a reason why he won't work in the business ever again.
Yeah,
unless he makes enough movies.
Yep.
Which, I mean, he's kind of doing, but he's not gonna get greenlit on any big platform like DreamWorks or anything like that. Nobody's gonna bring him. He's gonna have to make his own platform.
Yeah, he's gonna have to
and
make his own
even
movies.
Then he's just with his wordings of what he said about people.
Yeah,
I don't even know if the actors that like him are gonna come work for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
There's just
Nathan Fillion. I don't see Nathan Fillion potentially making his career go up in smoke to go work with Joss Whedon.
Yeah, you just don't want to risk it when it's just the guy said a lot of just not nice things about people, and it's why? Why? So, regardless of if he has
he's just
a point,
bitter about what happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably.
The interview,
both parties are just bitter of how it ended.
Bridges.
Yeah, the interview just makes it feel like everything that he could have done that hasn't been confirmed because you can't go back in time or be in that position. It just makes it seem more real. It's well, you're being really mean to these people. Maybe you did do these other mean things to them in the past. So, but maybe. I think that's all we can. I don't want to talk more about that necessarily.
Yeah. Let's just end on the good note for this series.
Yeah.
What are we looking for this series, for the Peacemaker series?
Yes, that's a good question.
I'm looking forward to any more characters coming in, because all the characters that have been introduced have been great so far.
Yep.
And we know that there's going to be more
DC
superhero type characters coming in.
I'm most excited.
We're gonna get some form of neo-Nazi showdown.
Yep.
Which is going to be really interesting to do, especially in this time of day.
Yep.
So we'll see that that whole subplot is going to be really interesting.
It was.
I'm most excited, I think, for whatever we're gonna see from the Green Arrow, because I think it's still confirmed.
Because he is confirmed to be in the show.
Yep.
It's not Mel.
It's not Mel. Nope. But whatever version of Green Arrow we get, like, we got a very good version of Vigilante in Arrow, and we got what I think is a very great version of Adrian Chase in this as Vigilante. So
I'm hoping they mention a little bit more of the Green Lantern.
So what if the dude that Adrian Chase works with at the burger joint or wherever they work at is Green Arrow?
That'd be funny as fuck.
That'd be weird, yeah.
Because he does say, "Then why are you trying to get me to set you up with my sister?"
Yeah.
So it'd be really funny if it just happened to be like that's the Green Arrow, and then Vigilante, like they work together, like.
That'd be
like it's gonna be an interesting take on Oliver Queen, but I mean, I guess it could just be like Oliver is just trying to get like real world experience.
That'd be so funny, dude. That'd be so funny. Fucking A, dude.
There has to be a post credit scene saying, hey sister, it's Oliver, you know.
We'll see. I mean, they're gonna straight up introduce him, but they'll probably reveal. I don't know if they didn't reveal his identity unless it's gonna be a twist like that. Like if it's like Oliver Queen, and like the thing is I would assume they're gonna stay pretty close to true on the comic origins, and that like he's probably the rich guy from Star City who got lost on an island and has come back now, and so it could be. I mean, this could be a fully fleshed Oliver Queen that's been the Green Arrow for 5-10 years, or we could get a version that's like, hey, he's just back from the island. Like, we got an Arrow. Like, it could be either, and I'd be okay with either, and happy to see whatever they do with it. Like, that's just, personally, my favorite character ever. And
I think this Adrian Chase, though, is using the, job at the burger joint, or whatever kind of joint it is. As, like, a cover.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Adrian Chase, he's supposed to be, like, a pretty well-off dude.
Yeah, no, he's a lawyer in the comics and in the show. I just really like the twists and changes they're making, slight changes they're making so far, and am excited to see how they represent Oliver more than. I mean, I know there's going to be other DC like characters popping up here and there, but I don't know. I just know that Oliver's confirmed, and so that's the thing that makes me most excited, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be dope to see him.
Just like like that's Oliver, and he's like he is just trying to get real world experience before going back to his family.
Like
to like re-socialize with the world.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious. Let me see if they have an actor confirmed for.
I don't think so yet.
Actor playing Green Arrow, Peacemaker. I think they did have somebody. Let's see here.
I don't think they're not gonna say it right away because you know the series just started, so they're not like gonna leak that away. You know, they got to be smart. Gun smart. It's like say no, we'll just keep this in the envelope. Let's not pop it out yet.
Oh, apparently some fans may be disappointed by the news that Green Arrow will in fact not be appearing, but it's safe to say even larger contingent of DC fans can now breathe a sigh of relief because Arrow just wrapped up and people were upset that like Amell wasn't playing him. So Gunn made a tweet saying, "Hey, I love the Green Arrow and I loved him as a kid. I would always want to be him. And my friends would be the Justice League, but he will not be showing up." So maybe I am excited for nothing. I didn't realize he tweeted he wouldn't be showing up.
maybe he's just trying to swerve us.
The actor that they said was gonna play him is Steve Agee, or that people assumed Steve was gonna be playing. Who is Steve?
You know, Steve. That guy, Steve.
He's the what? He's the tech guy.
Oh, really?
People were saying that Steve was gonna be the Green Arrow.
Oh, no. What?
People assume what? Why? Why would they think that? I never saw the full rumors. I just saw something that Stephen Amell had tweeted, like, "Hey, sometimes you gotta move on from certain characters, and like that's okay to do." And so I assumed that it was confirmed.
No. Let's put those rumors aside, bro. Let's just not worry about us. Let's see if he actually does show up on that.
I don't think that he'll show up then. I don't think the Green Arrow will be there.
All right.
So there you go. So that's something that we had heard, but is not true.
Psych.
Yep.
Debunked.
Debunked, boys.
Well, then I guess I don't know what I'm excited for. I'm just excited for more funny scenes, I guess.
Life?
No, like for Ant-Man?
I said Batman.
Oh, Batman? I don't think Batman's showing up either, but I'm excited for the Batman movie.
Yes, I am too.
I'm getting more excited. I was originally not excited at all about it.
Really interesting. I think I was always intrigued by the idea of this separate R-rated Batman.
After the first trailer with the Riddler showed up, I started getting more excited.
Okay.
The first trailer that came out 2 years ago or whatever it was,
the teaser,
did not have me excited for this movie at all.
Fair.
Yeah, actually, the first trailer actually had me excited because I was like, okay, we're actually gonna get a more younger, edgier Batman kind of, you know.
It just made me go, okay, well.
I think everybody's interest peaked right around the first trailer when they dropped it, and everyone was like, "Oh fuck!" Like the "I am vengeance" scene where he's punching the guy. Everybody was like, "That's gonna be good." So I think that's kind of when everybody picked up on it. But I think even from the original casting, when they cast him, and I was like, "Oh, we get Vampire Batman. I'm down." I thought it was.
I was just really hoping that it was gonna be Timothy Holt.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah. I can understand that.
We'll see how well Twilight Boy does it.
Twilight Boy.
Is it Timothy Holt? Right?
I think I think I know who you're talking about.
Or Nicholas Holt. Not Timothy Holt. Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas. You know.
I was just really hoping it was gonna be Nicholas Holt because he's been great in everything that he is. He's the Beast.
Yeah, he's the guy who plays the Beast in X-Men.
X-Men.
I guess I can understand wanting him there too because he'd be great at it. But
I feel like he would be a really good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he would be. He'd be a great Bruce Wayne. I think that our friend, our vampire friend, can do a good job though.
He can do a good job.
Oh yeah.
Robert Pattinson gets a bad rap for Twilight.
For Twilight.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not that terrible of an actor.
No.
It was the source material, mostly.
Yeah. Yep.
100%.
All right, let's wrap this up, boys.
All right. Well, that is everything that we have to talk about, I think, for Peacemaker and a little bit more.
And DC all around.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast. We will be, I think, episode 4 for Peacemaker comes out today, so we'll be watching
Thursday,
that.
I think.
Is it Thursdays?
Yeah, it dropped on Thursday.
Okay, so it comes out tomorrow. So we'll be watching the rest of the episodes and doing reviews for the rest of them through the rest of the series. We also have a couple other things coming out. We're relaunching our How Bad Was It series, going through the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe from start to finish and reviewing how bad or good the films actually were. It's not clickbait. We're going to be doing Captain America, the First Avenger. It's clickbait.
Redoing Captain America, the First Avenger, because we lost it the first time.
We lost the footage because I'm a bad producer.
Yeah, you are.
And then we're also going to be reviewing the Eternals, not the How Bad Was It version, but just the initial review of our first watching of Eternals, since that just came out on Disney Plus, and that'll be out pretty soon as well. So
yeah, because it was never actually in theaters.
Yeah, it was.
Despite them saying it was in theaters, it was never actually in theaters.
Okay, get out of here. You're lying.
Wow.
That's fake news. Fake news. It wasn't.
I saw about it. It was it was somebody oh, you're watching the Avengers. I saw that in theaters, and then people are like, no, it just came out.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
Or not the Avengers, the Eternals.
The Eternals. A lot of people did not see Eternals in the theaters. It did not do great box office wise or reviews wise. It's the worst at least by critics reviewed Marvel movie in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're gonna be discussing our thoughts on that pretty soon after this, actually, and talking about what we thought about the movie. So go ahead and watch that. All the links to those videos will be in the description, and we will see you then. Thank you for listening, watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Bye.
Bye.